Welcome back in. President Biden's son, Hunter, took a plea deal on tax charges. He's due to enter that plea deal in court later this month before a federal judge. And Republicans argue that Biden got a sweetheart deal, even though the U.S. attorney overseeing the case was appointed by former President Trump. And then there's pressure on the judge to reject it. Remember, here it is ultimately up to the judge to approve whether this plea deal goes forward. Now, joining me to discuss is Kevin Thorn, managing partner at the Thorn Law Group. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here.
So first and foremost, most folks don't get to be behind the scenes in these types of deal-making meetings. Lawyers often will bring their clients in, talk to prosecutors, and work things out. Sometimes it takes a few meetings, but bring us behind the scenes of a conversation like this. What's it like in the room when you're negotiating a plea deal?
Well, I mean, you have to really break this down into three parts. So you have the information, which kind of sets out some of the facts of the case. Not all of the facts. You don't get to see everything, and that's very intriguing because there's obviously a lot more facts than we're going to see. Then it moves on to the plea deal, and we haven't, like you stated, we haven't really heard exactly what that's going to be yet or seen anything. But that's really going to iron out more specifics. And then the third part is the actual hearing where the judge makes a decision on what to do. But during all three of those parts, there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of agreeing so they don't have to go to trial. And that's kind of the key thing. It saves the government a lot of money. They get their pound of flesh, and they can move on from there.
But their pound of flesh here is looking like misdemeanor charges with no prison time. And that's not necessarily always the case in these types of tax cases. You've been practicing in this area for a long time. It looks like Hunter Biden, from what we've seen from what's publicly available, misdemeanor charges for failing to pay at least $100,000 in taxes in 2017, 2018, over $1 million in income that wasn't reported. And just looking at similar cases maybe that you've seen or that you have dealt with, is this a sweetheart deal?
Well, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I've had cases in this actual courtroom that we're talking about. So in regards to it being a sweetheart deal, I think that it's abnormal. I think that the government, let's face it, the government takes it really seriously when there's a substantial failure to report income, and we're looking at $1.5 million for 2 years in a row. But then if you look in the information, it talks about how there's like $100,000 per year in tax loss for each one of these years. But we really don't know what the tax law is yet.
Right. And it's DOJ policy to charge the most serious charge that they think they can prove, right?
Right. Absolutely. But they want to get the deal done. Remember that.
Right. And so they'll ultimately appear before a judge at the end of July, and oftentimes judges will approve because they realize there's been a lot of work, a lot of negotiation here. In your experience in over 20 years, have you ever seen a judge say, nope, that's not good enough, I'm going to reject that plea deal, go back to the drawing table?
No, I really haven't. I've seen a judge sit and go over through the facts of the case for like a couple of hours, sometimes right in front of you in the courtroom, and talk about the different factors, be it the tax loss and the sentencing guidelines, and then other factors that come in, say drug addiction or mental illness or something like that, or some serious physical illness like a stage 5 kidney failure. Those types of things are taken into consideration, as well as whether or not they've cooperated. Have they paid the tax? So in Hunter Biden's case, all those things are going to come into play with the judge, but he's ultimately going to make the decision, or she. In this case, I believe the judge is a she.
Is it a considerable factor that this is the president's son, either from DOJ's perspective or from the judge? Should it matter? Does it matter? Is that something when they're deciding to bring charges that comes into the mind of prosecutors? And is it something the judge will consider?
It really shouldn't be. I mean, you really want to have all U.S. citizens that, if unfortunately they come into some situation where they're criminally charged or they've done something wrong, you want everybody to be treated fairly. And the prosecutors and the judge really kind of have to abide by that, because as U.S. citizens, that's what we expect, right? We don't expect preferential treatment. But I do think there is some sort of question about this deal. But we don't know the facts behind it.
Right. As you pointed out several times, we still have unanswered questions, right? What are some of those unanswered questions? One of them is we don't know if this was legal source income, right?
Right. We don't know. We really don't know what the tax loss is either.
And we don't know if he tried to conceal this information in his taxes.
And some of that may never come out.
Right.
We don't know, because those are things that happen behind closed doors, things that are taken into consideration. But the prosecution has to consider, exactly what can they prove in court. Can they actually prove things? Are there written documents? But the one thing the judge is going to look at, and I think you need to keep in mind, is the sentencing guidelines. And that's going to have some direct correlation to the tax loss. And we don't know what that is.
We'll have to have you back on once we get maybe more of that information and talk about sentencing guidelines, which we've talked about on the show here. Calculating those can be a bit dicey.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us, Kevin.
Welcome.
All right, don't go away. We have much more.